Hey, welcome back. I'm Mary Beth with Cheerful Health Coaching. Got on my coaching t-shirt. We are going to be talking about fuel pool foods today and fuel pool meals because fuel pools can be a little confusing to people. And we're going to take this session to really clarify fuel pools so that you can absolutely understand these and figure out how to implement them into your THM way of living and your way of eating. So again, got my notes, just will be having things written down. If you see me referencing that, that is what I'm doing. I know I always say that, but I just want to remind people so they don't think I'm just randomly looking down at my lap. Okay, so out of the plan book on page 54, that's where you will find the information if you need to go back and reference something. It's in page 54 of your plan book. So fuel pools are amazing. They are delicious and they are filling foods that will really round out your plate. They can also be whole meals by themselves as well as desserts. So let me go over that again. Fuel pool foods are the things that will round out your plate. They are things that can stand alone as a meal. And they are also, they can be desserts at the end of any type of meal. So an S meal, an E meal, a fuel pool meal, that is, you can have a fuel pool dessert and that doesn't upset any of the work that you have done. So fuel pool, if you will think with me, we've been talking about that seesaw. So remember in our S seesaw, S goes down because the fats are heavy in an S meal. The carbs go up because they are light. In an E meal, that swaps and the carbs go down because carbs are heavy, fats go up because fats are light. Well, in a fuel pool, your seesaw becomes broken because it's both low in fat and low in carbs. Okay, so just remember that you're in a fuel pool, fats are low, or sorry, your meals or your foods are low in fat and low in carbs. And that is because we want your body, I talked in that S or the E video about how we want to just give your body some carbs so that it has to pull from stored fat to use as fuel. Fuel pools work in the same way. You are pulling fat, stored fat, from your body to use as fuel. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second about how fuel pools work to do that. So fuel pools are just another tool in your THM toolbox. They are a way to keep your metabolism guessing. They are a way to keep your metabolism revved up. They are also a way to keep your body full. So at the end of your meals, you feel full and satisfied and not like you're sad and on a diet. Like fuel pool, the parts of your meal that will be fuel pool serve the purpose to keep you filled up. They make you happy at the end of a meal because you're not hungry and still wanting something. So if you choose to use a fuel pool as a meal, that is really another way to keep your metabolism revved up because you're juggling your S and your E, and then you throw in another ball and you've got your S ball, your E ball, and your fuel pool ball. And it is just another way to keep your body guessing. Sometimes you're giving it those higher calorie S meals. Sometimes you're giving it a medium amount of calories in your E meals, and then your fuel pool meals will give you a lower calorie. And so it just keeps your body guessing as you were juggling between these three types. So if you throw in a fuel pool meal a couple of times a week, you will, and that snacks can count as this. So when I talk about meals, I always am including a snack as a whole meal. So throwing a fuel pool meal in a couple of times a week can really help those of you who are, a little slower to lose if you're in that post-menopausal life and you have gained a couple of pounds that you just are really struggling to get off. Throwing in some fuel pools in your week can really help you release that weight and to get rid of those stubborn pounds that are trying to stick around. So Fuel pools are good for postmenopausal women. They are also really good for women who have an imbalance of sex hormones and thyroid hormones. So I know I've got Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So that's an autoimmune hypothyroid. And I know when I started throwing in some fuel pools last summer, as well as significantly increasing the amount of non-starchy veggies that I was eating, I released about 5 pounds that I didn't know was hanging on. And it really, it helped me kind of get to my goal weight doing that. So I can testify from personal experience that it actually does work. My one caveat before I jump into how do you do a fuel pool and what in the world is it, I want to let you know that you are not to be doing more than one of these a day. Now, if you're talking about fuel pools as just your non-starchy vegetables, those are considered a fuel pool to round out your plate. Have as many of those in the day as you want, but don't have more than one fuel pool meal in a day, because after too many days of doing that, having multiple fuel pool meals in a day, your body goes, are you hauling us back to diet jail? Like, we just got out of there and we were living a free life. We don't want to go back to jail. And so it starts to hold on to weight and hold on to the things that you have worked so hard to let go of. So it's just slipping back into diet mindset. And we do not want that. That is not from the Lord. We don't want that in your life. Okay. So one fuel pool a day at the most for a meal. Got it? You promised me that you'll do that. Thumbs up me if you will. I know I can't see you, but I'm trusting that you've done that. So let's talk about how you make a fuel pool. So we're going to start with a low fat protein source that is necessary in a fuel pool. So low fat protein source. You are going to add in a ton, like it's going to make your brain spin. There's going to be so many non-starchy vegetables. And then you're going to put in 1 teaspoon of fat. So let's see, is that it? Yes, that's how you're going to make up a fuel pool. So basically you're taking your fats from an E meal in 1 teaspoon of fat. You're taking your carbs from an S meal, 10 grams of net carbs. So you could throw in half of an apple, or a little clementine orange would work. Just you're keeping that under that 10 grams of net carbs and 5 grams of fat, or 1 teaspoon of fat. So fat from an E, carbs from an S make up a fuel pool. So you're going to have, let's go over that again. Low fat protein source, so many non-starchy veggies, your brain's going to spin. 1 teaspoon of fat. And if you choose to add in some net carbs, then that's okay. You can have 10 of those. All right. So for example, let me give you 2 examples. You can do a huge giant salad. You can throw in some tuna fish in brine, or just that salt water, or just regular water. Mix that all around, throw in some apple cider vinegar or some lemon juice. Balsamic vinegar works. You can do a teaspoon of MCT oil, or a teaspoon of avocado oil or coconut oil. Mix, that can all be your dressing, salt and pepper and whatever herbs you want to throw in there. Mix that all together. Perfect fuel pool salad. Another thing to do is to make up a huge giant stir fry with chicken breast for your protein. And then you've got all those great vegetables. You can, I don't know if Trim Healthy Mama's rice will, but not naughty rice will be back out when you guys are watching this, but that is cognac rice. You can get that at any Asian store. They have, it's made from the cognac root, but it's just in little rice shaped things, and throw, open up a packet of that and chuck that into your stir fry. You will think you're eating rice. It is absolutely a fuel pool, and really helps reduce insulin resistance. It's very filling, and it just takes on the flavor of whatever you're cooking it with. So that is a great, in fact, fuel pool. Tons of vegetables. You've got all that fiber from the cognac rice, and then you've got your protein from your chicken breast, which is the low fat source of protein. So you will not be hungry. If you've done it right, you will not be hungry at the end of a Fuelful meal. You will be very full and very satisfied. There are a ton of Fuelful shakes in all of the cookbooks that Trim Healthy Mama has put out. Brianna Thomas, if you guys know her, she is another Trim Healthy Mama cook. She's written several, I think 2 or 3 recipe books. She's got a ton of Fuelful shakes in her books too. There are many food bloggers that have created Fuelful shakes. And if you find yourself hungry at the end of your Fuelful meal, or an E meal or an S meal, but you're not trying to add in more fat and calories, then a Fuelful shake really comes in handy. Fuelful shakes are great for breakfast. They're great for snacks. They're very filling. They're sweet. They are super tasty, and they just kind of scratch an itch that you may be feeling. I have created a PDF document with, I think it's like 12 or 15 Fuelful snacks that can actually all be used for breakfast, lunch, snack, or dessert. You probably would want a bigger dinner, but there's some really good options on there. All of them can be found on the membership site, but most of them can also be found in some of the Trim Healthy Mama cookbooks. So just look for that. That will be connected with this video. Let's see. Yeah. Fuelful is just great. It's great as a snack. I like to call them bridging snacks. And they're in that weird time where you, like, maybe your lunch was slightly later than you intended, and your dinner is going to be at your regular time, but you don't have 6 hours between when you had your lunch and when you have your dinner. Maybe it's 5 hours. So you just need kind of a bridge to get you from snack time to dinner time. And you don't want to be full when it comes to having dinner, but you also don't want to be eating down your kitchen while you're making your dinner. So you need a bridging snack. And that bridging snack, this is where Fuelful snacks, I think, really come in for the win. So for me, what my bridging snacks often look like is I will have a BBOV. You guys will hear me use this term a lot. BBOV stands for Big Bag of Veggies. And that can be like, it came about when I was working outside of my home pre-COVID, and I would bring 2 great big bags of vegetables, one to eat with my lunch and one to have as my afternoon snack while I was working outside of my house. And so I would have those big bag of vegetables, and I would have like a 2 Good yogurt or for my protein source, or I would have my big bag of vegetables and I would have some cottage cheese, or my big bag of vegetables and 2 low-fat cheese sticks. I keeping it under 5 grams of fat, but I was full from the vegetables. I was not hungry when it was coming time to make dinner because I'd had some protein. And that just carried me through really nicely. Now that I'm working out of my house predominantly, I often will have, I don't put them in a bag anymore, but I still call them BBOV. I will get my BBOV out of my fridge and make myself a whey protein almond milk. So I will take whey protein from Trim Healthy Mama. I've got several different flavors. I'm on a vanilla kick at the moment, but I've been on a chocolate kick in the past. I've been on a strawberry kick. And you put a scoop of that protein powder in, that gets you about 20 grams of protein. And then I fill the glass up with almond milk, and I get my little milk frother and I just whiz that up. It is as quick as making Nesquik used to be, or making like Hershey. I used to make Hershey strawberry milk all the time because I loved it so much. And so this was like 8 years ago, right after I graduated from college. But I love strawberry milk. And so now I can make strawberry milk with my strawberry whey protein powder. And I just throw a scoop in, add some almond milk, whiz it up, drink it. It's cold, it's sweet, it's fruity, it's delicious. And I have that with my BBOV veggies. And so it is absolutely a bridging snack. It helps me not to eat everything that's not nailed down in the kitchen. I'm not shoving handfuls of pecans or almonds into my mouth while I am making dinner. And it fulfills that purpose. It just gets me bridged over to dinner, so I'm not dying while I'm eating dinner. And my blood sugar just stays really balanced. That's the other benefit. Like, you don't want to go too long between your meals. Now, you'll remember in Trim Healthy Mama, we are eating every 3 to 4 hours. We are doing that so that our blood sugar stays balanced. And if we go longer than 4 hours, sometimes for a long time in my Trim Healthy Mama journey, the way that my day wrote down, I would eat breakfast at 7 and I would not be able to have my lunch until noon. And that's just what happened. Life did not end. I still lost weight. But now that I am able to, just because of the way my schedule works, I am able to fuel every 3 hours definitely through lunch. On some days that gets a little iffy in the afternoon, and I do end up incorporating a fuel pool bridging snack. But mostly I can eat every 3 hours, and I've trained my body. My metabolism now works, and I don't have to know that it's time to eat, because my stomach is going, hey, we need some food. And I'll look down, I'll go, oh yeah, it's been 3 hours since I ate. So I have figured out how to get my protein amounts right. I have figured out how many vegetables do I need to make myself be full, and what my carb sources are and what my fat sources are. So I have been practicing THM for so long that those things are now just very automated in my brain. They will become that for you. At the beginning here, you're going to feel a lot like you are just thinking about this all the time. And it's because you are, but it's because you're learning something new. You are building new habits. You're building new knowledge in your mind. And until that just becomes assimilated, after a couple, probably it'll take 6 weeks, 3 months for that to happen. But one day you'll wake up and you won't have to think about, what am I having for breakfast? Ooh, what am I going to have for lunch? Because you'll just know. In our time together, we are going to work to get things automated for you. So I'm going to be helping you to compile lists of things that you can have for your breakfast, lists of things that you can have for your lunch, where you don't have to think about it. You can just go and say, oh, I feel like having chia pudding today for breakfast. Oh, or I think I'm going to have an egg scramble for breakfast. Or, oh, I think today sounds like a great day for oatmeal. Like, you will get there. Okay. I promise you that you will get there. It just takes a little while, but we're going to get you lists of breakfast, lists of lunch, lists of snacks, lists of dinner, to where you aren't going to have to think about it. We are going to talk later in our times together about planning. We'll talk more about timings. If you guys have questions on this, then you can either email me your questions, or if you were watching this for a group, then put your question in the comments under where this video is posted, and we will talk through those. There will also be question and answer times that you will be able to ask your questions. So just as things come up in your head during the week, jot them down, keep a little notebook of Trim Healthy Mama stuff, so that you've got a place where you can write down your questions, so that when we are talking, if we're talking one-on-one or if we're talking in a group, that you have got a spot where you can ask your questions, and you'll remember what your questions are because you've written them down. If you guys are anything like me, I'm coming out of some serious brain fog from this last year. And if I don't write things down, they are gone when I need them. So I am just passing on some good tips of how to remember what your questions are. And you guys are smart, so you've probably already figured that out. Anyway, that is the end of our kind of intro education to Cheerful Health way of doing Trim Healthy Mama. I'm really excited about your journey. This is going to be such a fantastic time together, and I am so excited and so hopeful on your behalf. You may not be feeling hopeful. I am feeling hopeful for you. That is what you pay me the big bucks for, is to help you, to walk alongside you, to cheerlead you on to making this a lifestyle. This is not something that you are going to be doing for a period of time and then you're going to walk away. This is something you're going to do for life. You are going to see changes. God is going to do big works in you in this time together. And I am just like so excited to be getting to walk alongside you in this. You are going to do great. So yeah, let me know if you've got questions, if you've got concerns, whatever you need. I am here to answer all of that stuff and to high five you along the way, to come along and link my arm through yours and say, let's keep going. We're going to go together. It's going to be awesome. Okay. Love you guys.